Welcome to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by LA's First Choice Auto Auction on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion Football. Now, live from Topolok Catering in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
Hold off a Northwestern State surge in the second half to pick up their second win in a row and move to 2-1 in the Southland Conference. The Lions were once again led by quarterback Jason Virgil, who threw for 316 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Sophomore wide receiver Austin Mitchell had a breakout game as he totaled 224 all-purpose yards, including a 76-yard touchdown reception. Defensively, our Lions held the high-scoring Northwestern State Demons to only 10 offensive points and totaled 5 sacks in the game. Next stop on the schedule has our Lions heading to San Antonio, Texas to take on the Incarnate Word Cardinals, who are off to a 2-0 start in the Southland Conference for the first time in school history. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home, Topolok Catering, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Lions Radio Network or watching live on Facebook or even the archive on YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Scelfo's thoughts on the game against Northwestern State and get a preview of this week's game against Incarnate Word. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for providing the facilities to meet my health and nutritional needs in order for me to be the best student athlete I can be.
For making game day experiences go from ordinary to extraordinary.
For allowing me to meet new people and build lifelong friendships while competing at the school I love.
For giving me the resources to pursue my degree and the ability to excel in the classroom.
For helping me look my best as I compete and achieve my goals.
Thank you.
Each summer, student-athlete leaders from the Southland Conference's 13 schools get together for a retreat. Before we start another season of competition, there's time to have some fun and bond. We also share experiences of serving our campuses and communities. Together, Southland student-athletes completed more than 30,000 community service hours over the past year. We pull for each other and push to make each other better. Just part of what makes us Southland strong.
Label me.
You know you want to.
Don't be shy.
You do it behind my back.
So say it to my face. Hey, you don't know me. You know what I am?
I'm a pitcher.
I'm a striker.
I'm a point guard.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a setter.
Shortstop.
High jumper.
Wrestler.
Defender.
Goalie.
Student.
Student athletes.
That's who we are.
All right, welcome back to Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction. I'm Alan Waddell. Our Lions win this past weekend, 24-17 over Northwestern State. Marks the 7th time in a row the Southeastern Lions have knocked off Northwestern State, and 2 in a row this year as the Lions now move to 2-1 in Southland Conference play. We'll now welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Frank Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here. Congratulations on a big victory on Saturday night.
Appreciate it, Alan. I thought the guys put forth a great effort all throughout the game, and defensively we really played well. So it was a good win. It was a conference win. It puts us in a position now that we control our destiny throughout the rest of the season in conference play.
Certainly, that's all you can ask for. As UCA goes on the road this past week, they lose to Sam Houston State, so that's what you're referring to. As we certainly control our own destiny as we head on out for the rest of the season. And you took the words right out of my mouth, defense. That's the first thing I have written down here on my notes to talk about here tonight. Was I thought our defense was outstanding. This was a Northwestern State team that came in really scoring a lot of points. They put up 49 against Lamar. They put up 34 on Grambling. They had really been moving the football. They were coming off of a bye week, so they were rested. They had some dynamic skill players. And today's world of college football, you might look at a stat sheet and say, hey, man, they had a lot of yards. They ran a lot of plays, but they only had 10 offensive points, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters is the scoreboard at the end of the game. So when you look at it that way, I thought Louis and the defensive staff did a great job putting together a game plan that we wanted to nullify the big receiver, number one. And we limited his catches. He had 60 yards going into that last drive when he caught a long pass, and they just threw it up in the coverage, whereas before they stayed away from him. But what you saw was his ability to do what he does, which is go up above everybody else and catch football. So we did a good job limiting him, forced them or gave them a box where they checked a lot of plays and ran the football, which we were fine with. Let's bleed it slow. Don't let them go. Don't let them get the explosive plays. And they ended up controlling the clock and running a lot of plays but didn't score a lot of points. So, from that standpoint, we thought it was really successful.
Coach, you look at what you did defensively in the red zone, and certainly that's the biggest, one of the biggest stats in football, especially today. Like I said, college football has transformed it a little bit, where there's a lot of high-tempo, up-tempo offenses where people are putting up a lot of points. They're trying to run a lot of plays, but getting yardage, but you held them to 2 of 6 in the red zone. So they got in the red zone 6 times, but only came away with points in 2 possessions.
Yeah, it was huge. Right before half, them driving down there and not being able to get points. Right. Big. We had another time we covered a fumble down there. Another time we stopped them on 4th down. So when you have an opportunity, and we talk about it all the time, just give us an inch and we'll hold it up. And our guys did that. They bought into it. They got a 1st and goal at the 1 or the 2 and couldn't punch it in. We just rallied and kept attacking, kept competing, and just played one play. And we played one play, and then we played the next play, and then we played one more play and kept them out. So it was great to see our guys, even though we had some guys down, some guys in different spots. We used a lot of people the other night defensively because of what they were doing. Guys just came through for us in clutch situations.
What were you doing in the secondary, to take those receivers away? Because when we talked last week, you said, hey, Jazz Ferguson, he's an NFL wide receiver. 6'6", but you said, hey, you can't just take him away. They have other good receivers as well. I thought y'all did a good job of giving them different looks. Sometimes you'd have a safety over the top. Some might be man coverage. Sometimes you'd have a corner in the slot that sometimes was playing on the outside. I know that they were mixing up a lot of the looks that they were.
We did, and we probably should have had about 3 picks. We had some balls hit us in the hand. So we were cheating the coverages a little bit based on some of the tendencies that they had. The quarterback, even though he's an older guy, he's inexperienced in Division I football. So we gave him some different looks. I think Louis brought some stuff. We spun the safeties down in different directions. We cut the number 1 with the corner. We cut him with a linebacker. We cut him with a safety. So there was different guys that were getting in his face and playing over the top. We played over the top with a corner. We played over the top with a safety. So by mixing those things up, I think it threw him off. He held on to the football a little bit longer. We were able to get some pressure on him. Resulted in 5 sacks for us. It was a team effort. All guys across the board, the pass rush, people on the second level, taking away some of the quicker routes. And then we bought some pressure packages and got to him and disrupted him a little bit.
And this was a team that had not given up many sacks, and they had no turnovers coming into the game. So you were able to cause a couple of turnovers, especially late. And I thought that was big. You made some plays in the 4th quarter when really the game was on the line. And that was after your defense had been out there 85-plus snaps, so they ran 94 for the game. So that just shows the conditioning of your club and really some of the depth out there that your guys were able to make plays even though they may be tired there in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and again, it was a group effort. Xavier Lewis on that strip fumble, and awesome. We were able to get it. What a great play. His guy had gotten past him. He took off, ran him down from the backside, punched it out. Just such a super play, but it was an effort play. Guys, there's good players out there that are talented and do special things because of who they are and what God's given them, but it's the effort that separates people. And for us to be consistently good on a regular basis, our effort has got to be great. And it was. I was really pleased with that. But I had been all year long. Our guys are playing hard. We got to play a little bit smarter, and we got to eliminate the mistakes. We say that every week, and we concentrate on it, and that's my job to make sure it happens. But at the end of the day, the effort portion, if we can get that going, we're always going to have a chance.
Coach, let's talk about Austin Mitchell for a moment. I thought he really had a breakout game in this one. I thought the Southland Conference did a really good job with their television broadcasts on CST and some of the social media things after, really highlighting Austin and kind of his story. A guy that's from Plaquemine High School, didn't have any offers out of high school, was a walk-on here at Southeastern. I know that you have since put him on scholarship. He's earned that way, and he had a monster game in this one, 224 all-purpose yards, and he had the big touchdown that really got us going right off the bat.
Yeah, he did. That was a good catch. I mean, he threw it, threw it over the outside shoulder. Probably should have thrown it inside. And Austin went outside, heck of a catch, catching it over the top like that, and then outrun him to the end zone. But if you remember back, we thought Austin could be a guy for us. And he had a good camp and really played pretty good against ULM, but then got hurt in that game. So he missed the LSU game, came back against UCA and played sparingly. Lamar had those drops. And then caught a pass at the end, caught a curl route, turned around, made a guy miss, and then ran the rest of the way into the end zone. So you kind of saw him get his groove back, I guess. I don't know if I even say that anymore, but that's what he did. And, the other night he played with a lot of confidence. But he had a real good week of practice last week. And so that's why we said, let's go put him back there catching punts again, and let's get the ball in his hands as many times as we can.
That was my next question as the punt return game. As we had seen, Devonta Williams was really returning punts for your team. Austin Mitchell goes back there and has a big play. That was a big play in the game. I thought he was in bounds, but they really stepped out, so we end up having to score a couple of plays later. But certainly a dynamic return by Austin back there catching punts. Is it he's going to stay back there?
Yeah, he's going to stay back there now. Devonta will back him up, but Austin gives us a little bit of burst, that we're lacking. But again, with the ball in his hands, he's dynamic. So we got to make sure to figure out ways to get him the football. In the past game, I thought that Greg did a super job isolating him on safeties, because that's where, we felt like let's go attack the safeties as much as we can. So we isolated him a couple of times on the safeties, which resulted in some big plays for us. But him catching punch and returning them, did he step out? I don't know. It's close. It could go either way. I don't know. Whatever they call. We got to figure out a way to score when we get down there, and we did.
Lions win this one 24-17 against Northwestern State. And I've mentioned it a few times, but really our university has owned this rivalry, Coach, over the last thing. We won 7 in a row, and you got your first one in this rivalry going at it. And it's always big. I mean, these are in-state games. You're going to be against those guys on the recruiting trail certainly in a few months.
It is, and look, that's a good ball club.
Yeah, I agree.
You watch and see. There'll be some stuff that's going to take place in this conference that's going to surprise some people. It's not surprising me. Now that I'm going through it and I'm watching other games and other teams play other games, other teams, I'm getting a better idea of the talent level and how good the coaching is. Northwestern's got a good scheme on both sides of the football, and I thought they did a good job executing it the other night. We just did a little bit better job. And what you're going to see is that they're going to disrupt some games for some people, and across the board there's going to be some other teams capable. There's going to be a log jam. I'm going to just tell you that as this whole season goes through, as we go down this path through the conference, there's going to be a log jam of teams.
Certainly, those of us that have been around this conference for a while and see Northwestern is certainly much improved this year, no doubt. I'm really anxious to see what's going to happen this week as Nichols goes up there and takes on the Demons up there in Natchitoches this weekend. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll break down the first half with Coach Scelfo right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Hey Lion fans, I'm Frank Scelfo, the head football coach for your Southeastern Lions. It's important for us to excel on the field, but it's even more important for us to recognize our great community partners.
That's why we have this exciting new promotion here at Big Frog with Southeastern Athletics.
Come by our Big Frog location on Southwest Railroad Avenue for exclusive Frank Scelfo design shirt.
That's right. When you wear your exclusive shirt to any Lions football game at Strawberry Stadium, be sure to stop by the concession stand to claim your free order of nachos for being a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics and Big Frog.
So hurry on down to Big Frog at our Hammond location and pick up your shirt today.
Lion up and frog on!
Imagine life without football. No Friday night lights, no pep rallies, no band. All that time invested to teach young men and women commitment and team spirit, gone. Football, where young men and women compete to be the best, where bands, cheerleaders, and countless others take part in the team experience. Celebrate the passion that only happens every fall. Join the game.
All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern football with head coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Lions win 24-17, move their conference record to 2-1. That's 2-1. I'm getting a request out here from the audience to give us a little more volume. Dustin, can you give us a little more volume out there for those guys so they can hear? I got you, Junior, covered. All right. All right, Coach, you win this one 24-17. Let's kind of walk through this first half, and certainly a first half that was really dominated by your football team. And it starts, we kind of touched on it with that big play to Austin Mitchell, but really the last 3 weeks, you've been able to put points up on your opening possession. I think that's 4 out of 5 weeks we put points on our first possession. So really doing a nice job out the gate getting points early. Yeah,
the game plan was good. Greg done a good job scripting the plays and getting all that together along with the offensive staff. I told him, let's just script the whole game. Let's don't even worry about stuff. Maybe do it that way. But, no, he's we were going to take that shot. We didn't know it was going to be first series, second series, but we felt like the matchup in a certain formation at a certain spot on the field was ideal for us. Kind of felt like we knew what we were going to get, so take the shot. Just so happened it was the second play of the game, and we took it, and it was there for us. But like I said, Austin did a good job chasing it, plenty of time to throw the football, no pressure on him. The O-line did a good job holding him off, and, got the touchdown.
For those that didn't see it, I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but that was certainly that's a difficult catch that he made. I mean, he's looking over his inside shoulder, and he has to track it over his head, and I thought it was important because Austin did have a few drops last week, and that's something we haven't seen. I know he was coming off of an injury, but to really show confidence in him and go for the deep shot right off the bat. Yeah,
and like I said, he had a good week of practice, Alan, so that lends itself to have confidence, and that's what he did. And he wanted to play, he wanted to step up. We knew we were running that play, so he knew that it was going to be called early on. We just weren't quite sure when the opportunity presented itself. So we knew we were going to run it, and he was ready for it. And that's what needs to happen. We got to have guys step up and make plays. When they have an opportunity to make a play, they've got to be able to do that. If we do that, like I said, they haven't done that in their careers. Now they're starting to do those things. So in pressure situations, they'll be able to do that more often.
Coach, we saw your team again. This is where we really saw the implementation of the game plan defensively in the first half. Is I think on their first possession, I think they ran it like 6 or 7 times in a row. And I know that there maybe some fans are thinking, hey, we're getting blown off the ball. But again, that's kind of by design. You were inviting them to run the football.
Yeah, we wanted them to run. I mean, they're explosive. They've thrown for 460, I guess, against Lamar and scored 49 points and explosive plays and things like that. So we said the whole week going in, let them run. Let's see if they got enough patience to run the football, and let's see if they can hold up. Because we felt like once they got close to the red zone, we'll be okay. The lanes everything gets a little bit tighter down there. So if it took them all day to run the football down there, so be it. And when we get in the red zone, let's hold up. And that's what happens, kind of how the game turned out. But again, I think Louis and them did some things with secondary rotations and coverage recognition that threw them off a little bit.
Coach, offensively, I know I just mentioned that one of the trends so far this year is we've really done well on our opening possession. 4 out of 5 games score on the opening possession of the game. One trend I know that you want that needs to change, and it seems like after we score on that opening possession, we're turning it over on the second possession. We still had a couple of turnovers there in that first half.
We did, and it happened again. And Jason threw a good ball. I think if Juwan catches that one and takes off,
I think he might score.
There's a chance, exactly. He's going to split the safeties. They blitzed on that one, and the safety was down. He beat him across his face and hit him. And in fact, the guy that he beat was the guy that actually had the interception. So it was, he pulled his head off of it. That's all. He just turned his head, pulled it off of it. But he knows he's got to make that play, and that's you go from a guy that didn't catch a lot of balls in his past, and now we're relying on him to make some big plays. Sometimes those things happen. So you go pat him on the butt and say, let's go.
That looks like the same play he caught it and took for against ULM.
It's exactly the same play that happened against UL Monroe. Right. Same thing. Split the safeties, which we were hoping we could get the same thing again.
Coach, we really saw your team, though, for the first time this year, separate from somebody. Go out to a big lead. I want to talk about the punt return for a moment. I thought your whole special teams group did a really nice job on that punt return. So many times when you're watching football, you see that first guy down when he has an opportunity, when he's chasing the defender to block him in the back. And I thought our team did a great job of not doing that, letting Austin make the first guy miss, and then the wall was set up and he was down the sideline.
Yeah, I think what can't get overlooked is how well our special teams are playing right now.
I agree.
All phases, punt return, kickoff, return. The other night we had a short kickoff and we got a return off of that one. But everything else, we've been doing a good job keeping those guys down there. Our punt team is doing an outstanding job covering punts. Ivy's been right on. He missed one the other night and punched it into the end zone, but he's been dropping them inside the 10 the whole year. And in Austin, you can't say enough about him being able to take that one through, but we had some key blocks on that, and it gave us an opportunity for him to take it down the sideline.
I think, Kimler, you said earlier, Ivy Wall 10th in the nation right now in average punting, so a great job by him. I know he's been certainly a bright spot so far early in the season, and he'd probably be better than that average-wise, but he's pinned so many inside the 10 and inside the 5 that you don't get as much average on that, so certainly a nice job by our punt team. And then obviously on this play, a big punt return. But Coach, you're up 21-3. I thought the last possession before the half was big. They put a drive together. If they make that thing 21-10 right there and they get the ball to start the second half, we have a whole different ball game.
Yeah, we could have. But, again, our defense just stood up right there. Alan, it's I keep talking about them and how they're playing and how they're competing. And, they went after Philando at the cornerback spot a couple of times, and he bowed up on the guy, man. Did a great job. They tried to run the football, didn't get anything there. So, it's good to see our guys when you get verification, and sometimes it's, show me that it's going to work. I hear you telling me, Coach, but I don't know if this is going to work. And I think what's happened is that doubt is now creeping out of those guys' minds when we say, look, just keep them an inch out, and we'll keep them out. And they're doing that, and they're competing till the end. So the confidence level is really starting to fall into play right now.
No doubt about it. Lions led this one 21-3 at halftime. We would certainly have an interesting second half, so stay tuned. We're going to come back. We'll get Coach to break it down right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Each summer, student-athlete leaders from the Southland Conference's 13 schools get together for a retreat. Before we start another season of competition, there's time to have some fun and bond. We also share experiences of serving our campuses and communities. Together, Southland student-athletes completed more than 30,000 community service hours over the past year. We pull for each other and push to make each other better. Just part of what makes us Southland strong.
Label me.
You know you want to.
Don't be shy.
You do it behind my back.
So say it to my face. You don't know me. You know what I am?
I'm a pitcher.
I'm a striker.
I'm a point guard.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a setter.
Shortstop.
High jumper.
Wrestler.
Defender.
Goalie.
Student.
Student athletes.
That's who we are.
All right, welcome back. Almost halfway home here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. I want to thank Topla for being our host each and every week. We'll be doing this every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock, talking Lion football. Lions win this one 24-17 against Northwestern State this past weekend. They have a big game this weekend now as they'll go on the road on Saturday to take on Incarnate Word, who is 2-0. We're going to talk about that coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. But we're going to wrap up the game against Northwestern State, talk about an exciting second half. Coach, is certainly
exciting for you, I guess. I don't know.
Certainly when you look back at this one, you go in the locker room 21-3. I know, listen, you always want to win. It's certainly the most important thing, but you take things out of the game. And you had to be a little disappointed that they were able to get back in the football game there in the second half.
Absolutely. Even that game stayed 21-3 with about 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
24, we added a
24, that's right. We kicked the field goal. So it was 24-3 late in the third quarter, and then things kind of got unraveled for us, and we had the fumble, and we had a penalty and knocked us out, picked up a first down, had a penalty and brought it back, and then we had to punt again. And we're completely out of sync on offense. We did a poor job running the football. We got to do a better job running the football. We got to be better up front. Our offensive line's got to take control of the line of scrimmage, and we got to play more physical. We've been stressing it, and Northwestern did a good job. They did schematically, they did a good job, which allowed some things to happen, take place in the secondary. But you want to be able to run the football when you want to run it, not when they dictate it. Like we dictated to them, run the ball. And we were able to do that. But I want to run the football when everybody in the whole stadium knows we're going to run it. I want to be able to run the football and pick up positive yardage.
Coach, you say that. How do you do that? I mean, is it
there's
scheme?
a physicality. It's both. But there's a mindset when you run the football that I don't care what the other guy does. We're going to run it, and you can't do anything about it. And it has to start from play one, and you literally have to break a defensive player's will. You have to continue to pound him, and he's got to know you're going to be there every time. He's going to win some, but he's got to know you're going to be there every snap, and he's going to have to compete every snap. And if he takes a break, we're going to split one. And that's what we're looking for. We were talking earlier. We've got to get some explosive runs. We want some big runs. They can't all just come in the pass game. We've got to have Devontae or DJ or Marcus or TJ, somebody breaking a run and taking it 20, 30, 40, 50 yards, That's what we got to have.
Coach, when you watch this game in the first half, probably the consensus for most people that watched it, the way we were able to throw the football and move the ball, we had a couple of turnovers in the first half. You say, hey, we might score 40 points in this game. It just didn't happen. Offensively, seemed to bog down there in that second half.
Yeah, it did. Like I said, and it was some self-inflicted stuff, but then you got to give Northwestern credit. They played a physical game. They brought some pressures in the second half that they didn't show in the first half. So they had schematically they made some adjustments at halftime. I look at our team more than I look at the opponent and the things that we do and how we want to do it, and we need to play more physical up front. So we'll do that. We'll continue to stress it and press the run game and things like that. But at the end of the day, we got to score. We got to get a win, and we got to figure it out. Whatever we got to do, we'll do that.
Coach, one of the things that for me, it just seemed like we never had the ball. I mean, they had some long drives in that second half. It seemed like they had the ball the entire second half. But, again, I want to go back to our defense. They had a few times. It was 24-10. They get it down there inside the 5. We're in the fourth quarter. Say, hey, they're going to make this a one-possession game. And we stuff them right there inside the 5-yard line.
We did. That was awesome, wasn't it? That was good. I mean, I'm just so excited about our defensive guys, man. I do get excited on the sideline. Sometimes I even yell. I don't like to. It just happens. But, just watching our defense compete, man, just it's good.
They are.
I mean, yeah, it's good. These guys are flying around. We're switching personnel. Louis dialing up pressures. We got guys running all over the place and exciting to watch. I would have a tough time playing against our defense. I look at our guys all the time and say, how will I scheme our guys? Well, there's a lot of people to account for, and you got to be able to do that. So it was just watching our guys compete. Well, I think we played 97 snaps defensively, which is amazing. And for us to be able to hang in there and do what we did, especially towards the end of the game.
Certainly a lot of snaps. I think they ran 49 in the first half, and I said, man, there's no way they can do that again in the second half, and they almost did. I mean, They had a lot of snaps on it. And usually teams that are tempo teams or that try to run a lot of plays, what they're doing that because they're trying to wear you down in the fourth quarter where they can hit big plays. And I thought our defense just rose to the occasion so many times in the fourth quarter. I do want you to talk about that sequence where they do make it 24-17. We have a turnover in the end zone. Second week in a row, we give up points offensively as we give up a defensive touchdown.
Yeah. Protection, breakdown and protection. And Chasen held on a little bit longer. He's got to throw that thing away if it's not there. And then we had a breakdown, sack, strip, fumble, touchdown for the Demons. It was and when things like that happen, so now you get a chance to take a look at who your team really is, because when adversity hits, it'll reveal everything. And they just, you didn't see any panic. You didn't see anybody just get mad, start yelling at each other, pointing fingers. None of that stuff took place. Defense says, let's go. Offense says, hey, we're getting it right back. Let's go down and do something. Let's try to hold on to the football this time and do what we need to do.
If I'm correct, I think that we had to give the ball right back to him. That's when we had the big strip by Xavier.
That's exactly right. So we did. We punted, and then Xavier made the play, got the punched the fumble out from the backside. We got it back again. So that's what I'm saying. Guys are looking to make plays, and you're starting to see people emerge that maybe haven't played a lot of football, but their talent level starting to show through because they're starting to gain experience. And that's why experience is so critical for these guys.
Coach, let's talk about that last sequence. They get the ball on the 20-yard line. I think they have about 30 seconds left to go, and they throw a pass up to their big receiver, number 1, and we say, oh, here we go. There they are at midfield.
But that's what he does. I mean, Philando was right there. Zeke was right there. Josh Carr, we had 3 guys covering him, and the quarterback didn't care. He's just going to throw it over there anyway, and he did, and the guy came down with the football. We could have picked it. We could have knocked him out. We could have done all kind of things, but he caught the football, and it was a heck of a catch. That's a heck of a play.
Coach, let's talk about the decision on the last play. They're basically in a Hail Mary situation. They have 1 play left. You decide to bring some pressure. Don't even give him a chance to get that ball off. You called a timeout. Take us through that decision. What went on right there?
Yeah, we kind of lived through that Hail Mary stuff one time before this year. I wasn't too fired up about doing that again. So I wanted to see how they lined up. I told Louis, I said, look, I want to see how they line up. Find out where 1 is, because that's he's going to get this ball. So find out where he is, and then I'm going to call timeout, and then let's adjust. And that's what we did. So we lined up in a certain way, found out where he was. We knew the quarterback had to move a little bit to his right to get the ball to him. So we brought pressure off of that side in the form of Xavier. He came in, forced him out, and then we got the sack at the end of the game. But I didn't want to give him a chance to throw the ball into the end zone. We ain't out jumping that dude. He's going to catch another, and that's not going to happen. So we went after him, and it worked out.
Coach, 5 big sacks for your defense in this one.
Yeah, that's the most we've had this year. Yeah, that's now they threw it a lot, but like I said, because our guys were so active and we brought a lot of different people, we thought we tried to keep guys fresh. I know Isaac played a lot of plays, but Josh Carr and David Fields and those guys were able to jump in there and do some stuff for us, which really helped out.
Lions win this one 24-17. Literally came down to the final play, and so many of these conference games do. And you just gotta be on the right side, find a way to win. And I thought our team did that. They had a lot of opportunities there in the fourth quarter. We had a turnover. We give them the touchdown right there where they make the play. And then they had a few more opportunities with the ball, and our defense rose to the occasion. It's all about the team that makes the play. That's who's going to win, and that team was us this week.
Yeah, and think about it. The Monroe game right at the end of the game, UCA right at the end of the game, Lamar right at the end of the game, this past week right there. That's how the games are going to go. I mean, if you want exciting football, come on out and see the Lions, man. We're going to give it to you. Those are things that are going to happen. A good football teams play in games like that, and they figure out a way to win them. That's what's happening. We were losing close couple of weeks there, and then now we're winning close. So next step is just to figure out a way to win big.
Yeah, I'm going to like that better.
I do too. Don't think I don't. That's for sure.
All right, Lions win this one 24-17, move their record to 2-1 in the Southland Conference. Again, 7 in a row for the Lions against Northwestern State. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll have more right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for providing the facilities to meet my health and nutritional needs in order for me to be the best student athlete I can be.
For making game day experiences go from ordinary to extraordinary.
For allowing me to meet new people and build lifelong friendships while competing at the school I love.
For giving me the resources to pursue my degree and the ability to excel in the classroom.
For helping me look my best as I compete and achieve my goals.
Thank you.
Imagine life without football. No Friday night lights, no pep rallies, no band. All that time invested to teach young men and women commitment and team spirit, gone. Football, where young men and women compete to be the best, where bands, cheerleaders, and countless others take part in the team experience. Celebrate the passion that only happens every fall. Join the game.
All right, welcome back to Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and also Topla. Topla brought Coach a delicious dessert there. As you can see that, they always do a great job here hosting our show. We want to appreciate them. Was that a little creme brulee, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll try to get through this segment quick.
I've had it here before, so
you can dive into that here.
I can't wait.
In just a second.
If we cut the show short, I'll be all right, too.
Coach, you win this one 24-17, and every time you win a football game, the next one gets that much bigger. So now you have a big game this week against Incarnate Word as they're 2-0. They're certainly feeling good. Again, I mentioned in the open, this is the first time in school history Incarnate Word's off to a 2-0 start in conference play. They haven't been playing football that long. That's one thing I want to point out. But this is a team that's much improved. We're going to go on the road and taking those guys on in San Antonio, Texas, a place where you are very familiar with. You've been living in San Antonio the last few years.
Yeah, the last couple of years. Yeah. And, my son played there. He played football and baseball there, my other son. And, it'd be pretty good to go rub his face in it this week, too. That'll be awesome.
Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
you get
I'm okay with that. That's their mama's problem, not mine. I told you all that last week.
Coach, I'm going to ask you, before we get really into this game, I know at the beginning of the year, one of the things you said a few times was you didn't really know a lot about the conference. You hadn't been through it. You were really leaning on some other guys that have been through it to kind of help you and get you through this thing. And your thoughts through the first few weeks of conference play. Now you're getting to see a lot of these games and a lot of teams that are on tape that we haven't even played yet.
Yeah, and I think that's the part for me in education, from an education standpoint, is I'm starting to learn them a little bit more. I got a chance to, now we're watching UIW, and they played a couple of opponents, playing Lamar, playing Northwestern, those two guys playing each other, how we matched up against them in certain areas, either up front on either side of the line of scrimmage or in the skill positions. It gives you an idea kind of who you're playing against week in and week out. And what I'm seeing is that, when you look at UCA and going to overtime or right at the end was against Sam Houston this week, and Nichols beating those guys and McNeese beating it. There's this conference is pretty. It's not pretty good. It's very balanced. So I don't think there's going to be one or two teams that run away with it and everybody else falls down to the bottom. UIW is 2-0 right now. They're excited about what's going on. They got the campus. They got all kind of stuff coming out this weekend because they want to go to 3-0. They're leading the conference. They're doing some good things. They got a new head coach over there. He's brought some excitement and kind of got things moving in a different direction than where they had been in the past.
Their new coach is Eric Morris. He's off the Texas Tech staff, and I know that's one thing you kind of mentioned during your press conference today. It's even when you hire somebody from Texas Tech, you think Cliff Kingsbury, you think of the air raid, but that's not what it is. They have a really balanced offense.
Yeah, they do. I think what you'll see some resemblance of the air raid, the concepts in the pass game and the way they do some stuff protection wise. But they're running the football a lot more. Mike Leach and Kingsbury that's not a big deal in their packages to run the ball as much as he is. He's doing a much better job of that. Their quarterback does a nice job. He's a dual threat guy, so he carries the ball. He also throws. He does a nice job of that. Their running back's very explosive. He's got some big plays. I know his numbers right now are ridiculous, to tell you the truth. He's averaging about 8-10 yards a carry.
10 yards a carry.
Yeah, so, he's an explosive guy when he gets in space. Well, when you go 4 wide, 3 wide, and 4 wide, and you get some cracks, a guy like that can take it the distance. That's what he's been doing. That's why they've had some success early this year.
If you look at their schedule so far this year, they're 2-2. They opened up the year with a couple of FBS opponents. They were at New Mexico and at North Texas. And then against the two FCS opponents, two teams in the Southern Conference, they're 2-0. They beat Stephen F. Austin at home 31-7. Played great defense in that game. And then last week they went to Abilene Christian and outscored Abilene 44-34 on the road. So they're certainly putting up some points and capable of doing that. They scored 30 against New Mexico. They put up 16 on North Texas. So this is a good offense. We're gonna to face this
They've
week.
got some skilled guys. They went an influx of junior college guys. He brought them in January, and then over the summertime picked up a couple of transfers. So for him, that's what he wanted to be able to do, kind of get off on a good foot, get a good start. But, it'd be quite a challenge for us. Like I said, getting on the road, we'll leave Friday morning and stop somewhere along the way, practice, and load back up, and then head on into San Antonio Friday evening.
You mentioned earlier Raquan Dickens. He's their tailback. He has 57 carries for 587 yards, so 10.3 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns through 4 games, averaging 146 yards per carry. So certainly he's somebody that we have to slow down. Their quarterback, John Copeland, he's thrown for nearly 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns in 4 games as well, and 2 of those games against FBS opponents. We've talked a lot about their offense. Defensively, talk about what they do defensively over there. I mean, they held SFA to 7 points 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're different than anybody we've played. So it's the pressure packages are similar, but the alignments are what's going to change. They'll play with the 4 down linemen up front, but those guys will be tight techniques. A lot of them will be inside the A gap on the center. I know maybe you don't know. Some people might not know what that means. It's just they'll be in between the guards and the center on both sides, and then there'll be a lot of movement from there. So it'll be a challenge from a blocking scheme standpoint for our offensive line to be able to make sure we're identifying the right guys. You'll see their Mike backer, their inside middle backer, is about 7 yards deep. He's downhill. He's really a good tackler. The reason they do what they do is to protect him, make you eat up your offensive lineman with their D-line and allow him to run free. He's a good tackler. He's good in space, good in the open field, and he's a physical player.
It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. This is really our first day game of the year.
Yeah,
So yeah,
great.
4 o'clock kickoff over there in San Antonio, Texas. I've been asked a few times if the game's going to be on television. It is not. It is not televised. It will be streamed on the UIW's website, so you can go on our website, lionsports.net, and get more information on that. But as always, you can listen right here on the network and listen to Voice of the Lions, Mark Willoughby, and he'll bring you the play-by-play call from at 4 o'clock as Southeastern travels to Incarnate Word. This series history between the two teams, 5 meetings. Lions lead at 4-1. We are undefeated over in San Antonio, 2-0. And the last time we played last year was 49-30. Lions knocked off Incarnate Word. And a little fun fact for those that don't remember, the name of their stadium is actually Tom Benson Stadium. Tom Benson gave them the money, as he has some connections, obviously, to San Antonio as well. So Tom Benson had given them the money to put their football stadium right there at Incarnate Word. But we're expecting a good game. And, two of the teams at the top of the pack. And certainly an opportunity for one team to kind of separate itself a little bit.
And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be at the bottom looking up at everybody the entire season. You want to be up there at the top and have something to play for and how important it is. And, you guys look at it. If you want to be good, you got to you got to expect yourself to be up in this area, and that's what we do. We expect ourselves to be here, and that's what we want to be all year long.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As it's, I think it's. You mentioned it earlier. I think this is going to be a real fun Southland Conference race. Every year it's fun, and I think that I think that the teams that have been at the bottom of the league are better. And I made that comment to you just a minute off the air. So I think every week you got to buckle it up. And so you're not going to see the huge blowout games that we might have seen the last few years where the top of the league was really beating up on the bottom of the league. I don't think that's going to happen here in 2018. Well, we've already seen that with the scores.
Yeah, it's playing itself out right now in some of these other games, And you look at teams who perennial, I guess, have been winning. They're struggling a little bit. They're struggling to score points. They're struggling to stop people. McNeese is undefeated along with UIW, and everybody else is kind of log jammed in there.
I mean, you look at SFA, just to kind of give you some balance for some of our listeners to tell you what's going on in the league. SFA falls to UIW by 24 points, 31-7. The very next week they go to Lake Charles and they play McNeese to a one-possession game, comes right down to the end, and McNeese obviously one of the favorites in the league as well. So, again, this thing is going to go back and forth. You got to bring your A game each and every week, or you certainly can go down. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to get some questions for Coach Scelfo. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can type some questions in right there, and we'll answer them right here live on our program as well. So let's take our final break. When we come back, we'll get to the question part of our show, and we will wrap it up right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Hey, Lion fans. I'm Frank Scelfo, the head football coach for your Southeastern Lions. It's important for us to excel on the field, but it's even more important for us to recognize our great community partners.
That's why we have this exciting new promotion here at Big Frog with Southeastern Athletics.
Come by our Big Frog location on Southwest Railroad Avenue for exclusive Frank Scelfo design shirt.
That's right. When you wear your exclusive shirt to any Lions football game at Strawberry Stadium, be sure to stop by the concession stand to claim your free order of nachos for being a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics and Big Frog.
So hurry on down to Big Frog at our Hammond location and pick up your shirt today.
Line up and frog on.
Each summer, student-athlete leaders from the Southland Conference's 13 schools get together for a retreat. Before we start another season of competition, there's time to have some fun and bond. We also share experiences of serving our campuses and communities. Together, Southland student-athletes completed more than 30,000 community service hours over the past year. We pull for each other and push to make each other better. Just part of what makes us Southland strong.
Label me.
You know you want to.
Don't be shy.
You do it behind my back.
So say it to my face. You don't know me. You know what I am?
I'm a pitcher.
I'm a striker.
I'm a point guard.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a setter.
Shortstop.
High jumper.
Wrestler.
Defender.
Goalie.
Student.
Student athletes.
That's who we are.
All right, welcome back to our final segment here on Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Our Lions win this past week 24-17 over Northwestern State. They moved their record to 2-1 in the Southland Conference. That sets up a big game this weekend as they'll be on the road in San Antonio, Texas, taking on Incarnate Word, who is off to a 2-0 start in the Southland Conference. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff over in San Antonio, Texas. Coach, one thing I wanted you to address, because I know you brought it up in your press conference today, and I wanted you to for all of our fans that are listening here tonight, one thing that you were concerned about coming after the game was some tackling. I know that's one thing that you talked about that you were going to address this week.
Yeah, we address it every week. We've got tackling circuits that we do, and a lot of times the tackle we didn't wrap up enough. We went in there and we hit guys and everything, but we didn't wrap up and grab cloth, and I think that was kind of disappointing from a defensive standpoint. But at the same time, we stress it every week. We have a tackling circuit that the defense goes through, and it'll get better. But the effort, and we got to give some credit to the Northwestern guys. They did I thought their backs ran extremely hard. The receivers caught the ball and broke some tackles, and the quarterback was elusive more than I thought he was going to be coming into the game. Watching him on film, I thought he did a better job moving around. So, that's probably 50-50 both ways. Northwestern doing some things that caused some issues, but then us not wrapping up.
And I'm not nitpicking there. I mean, defensively, obviously,
you have to do that. We got to tackle. It's part of the game. We got to do a better job of that.
Coach, the other thing I wanted to ask you before we get to the comment, this is just some of my questions, that I think of every week that, if I was sending one, and this is what I would ask. When you're up 24-3, you have an opportunity to kind of finish that game off. Is that a mentality standpoint? Is that, or is it just the way the game played out that they got back in the game?
No, I think you got to have some awareness of what's going on. The players do, the coaches do. We have to do a great job of educating our players that when you're in this situation, here's the opportunities that you have. So what are you going to get defensively? You'll probably get more people in the box. So you got to be prepared for that. You probably get some movement up front and some pressures off the edge because they're going to try to knock you out of a third and short situation. They want to get you in the third and long again. So you're going to get some of those things, but our guys got to be aware of that. We can tell them, but until you experience it and go through it, it's just not quite natural to you. So you got to think your way through that process. So being up, again, that's another thing that we've done this year that's going to help us grow next week or this week, next week, the following week. If we can get a good enough lead, now we should be better, more prepared to handle it.
I always feel like, good teams, they find out different ways to win. Last week at Lamar, we're down at halftime. We have to come back in that game. This week, we have the big lead. They get back in it, but we're still able to make enough plays at the end and not let them complete the comeback.
Yeah, it does. And again, you always look at the end of the game, see what the scoreboard looks like. Yep. But as a coach, you pull it back in and you say, all right, I know how the scoreboard looks, and it does make you feel good after the game. But that process to get us to that point is where the evaluation really has to take place. We got to do a great job when we go in there to be objective and look at it and say, we got to do better in this area. We've got to do better in that area. We really played well in this area. Things like that. So we're honest. We're honest with the players. They're expecting it now, and they don't feel bad about it when we say that we've got to do better. You had a good game, but here's some areas you got to clean up.
All right, Coach, a couple of questions coming in here tonight. First, Rebecca from Hammond says, Coach, can you talk about the play of your defensive line?
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job. We lost Noah Vance for the season, so he'll be out. So we're one guy down there. So, some guys are going to have to pick up those reps. But I think what's happening is that we're using different packages, especially against teams that are more spread, four-wide teams. We're bringing in Josh Carr and David Fields, and Isaac is even moving down inside sometimes, which we did in this past week. And he creates some issues for guys in pass protection because he's so active. So, when you look at John Miller and Fred Brown and Ron Cherry and Falatoy and Tanano and those guys, they're doing a good job inside, holding a point for us at times.
I'm really impressed with that pronunciation. You got those
on who? Fred?
No.
Or Ron?
Yeah, not on those. Not on those.
Falatoy and Tanano?
Yeah. They've been playing well, though.
They're awesome. Yeah, Toy had a penalty again the other night, and we had to sit him for a while. Well, we had to sit him the rest of the game. But, he just can't do it. But he hadn't played before. He hadn't played football, so it's his first chance to play. He gets a little excited, and we got to temper it a little bit. But he can be a good player for us if we can harness that energy.
Coach Jermaine from Amite says, Coach, how do you feel about your team's overall health after 5 weeks?
It's pretty good. Us losing Matt Wright and Noah Vance, those are two not only good players, but they're leaders for us. They're quality guys. So you can't lose those guys and expect to stay the same. But we don't expect somebody to come in there and have to take their place. We got somebody to take their space, but you just can't take their space. But Braylon Thorns has stepped up. Trey Spann has stepped up. Those guys are doing those things. Dante Carter got a few reps the other night to help out in Noah's spot. Ron Cherry, Fred Brown. All those guys are playing to take up the slack where we missed out. But we got some bumps and bruises. Every team does. We're not hurt any more than anybody else we play, including UIW, Northwestern, or anything else.
All right, Coach, let me get back here to my questions here. Coach Tim from Manchester says, Coach, can you talk about the running back depth? I saw the freshman from Mandeville got some reps the other game.
Yeah, he's been Teron Jones been doing a good job for us. He's went through camp and he struggled a little bit in pass protection and what he was doing there, but he's learning that now. So now he can be he's physical enough to be a 3-down back. He can run. He can run in between the tackles. He can get to the perimeter, and now he's doing a better job in protection. He's got to catch the ball a little bit better, but he can work on that. He can improve on that. And then, Marcus Cooper, we need to probably try to get him involved a little bit more offensively, but he's got to help himself a little bit, through the week in practice and being prepared during the course of the game. I think our two guys – DJ's doing a really good job running, protection, catching the football out of the backfield, as is Devontae. So those guys are workhorses, but what you'd like to do is have somebody spare them sometimes and give them a little bit of a break every now and then.
No doubt about that, and certainly some explosiveness out there. And again, you mentioned earlier, we're not getting a lot of explosive plays in the run game, and certainly that's an emphasis moving on as if we're going to get where we want to be, got to run the football.
Yeah, we got to, because sooner or later they're going to take, just like we did this past week against Northwestern, they're going to take away the pass game and say, beat us running the football, and we got to be able to do it. And then we're going to have a lead like we did this past weekend. We said we have to run the football, and we're not going to be able to do it. So we got to be able to do that to win games that maybe early on we got to do it, or late in the game to win the game and hold on to the football.
All right, I want to thank those who sent in some questions for us here tonight. We just have a couple of minutes left to go on our show. The Lions knock off Northwestern State this past weekend, 24-17, moved their record to 2-1 in the Southland Conference. That's 2 in a row. An opportunity to go for 3 in a row this weekend as you go on the road and take on the Incarnate Word Cardinals, a 4 o'clock kickoff in San Antonio, Texas, as they're 2-0. Certainly a big game for this one, and I know a lot of people in the conference. I was talking earlier, I said, I wonder why this game didn't get picked up on TV, but Incarnate Word is one of the teams that's one of the surprises of the league right now, and I don't know how many of the so-called experts that look at the league would have said, hey, these these guys are going to be 2-0, but they're feeling good about themselves. They got a first-year head coach bringing some excitement over there. Their quarterback's playing well. We mentioned the explosiveness of their tailback, and they have 2 good wins. A blowout win against Stephen F. Austin, and then a road win against Abilene Christian. So certainly we're going over there, and this is arguably one of their biggest games they've had at home, and I'm expecting a good atmosphere over there in San Antonio.
It should be, yeah. Like I said, my son played there, so I was able to make a few games over the years his career there. And they're trying to build it, but they just haven't had much success, especially not what they're doing right now. So Eric's brought a lot of energy over there. He's brought a different offense over there, and he's gotten some people involved in it. And so they're trying to create something new and special, and we can't let it happen to us.
Certainly can't. As if those that are watching here that are here, Coach dove into his creme brulee.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I wish the commercial break could have been a little longer. I almost got it done.
Well, Coach, we have literally about 2 minutes left. So, Coach, give us your final thoughts of the night. Coming off of a big win against Northwestern, what do you take off out of this win, and you go forward to take on UIW this weekend?
Defensively, we were able to play a lot of guys this past week, and we had to because of the number of snaps that we had. So we're able to build. We're going to be able to build on that in the future because now those guys have confidence in their ability to play. And then we've got, as a staff, we've got more confidence in their ability to play. So we can rest guys and put other guys in there without feeling like we're losing the whole package. And then on offense, we just got to get back to playing tough, hard-nosed, physical football and coming downhill at guys, coming off the football all the way across the board from tackle to tackle, the tight ends, the fullbacks, and the running backs, just being a more physical football team on offense. So it's hard to do that at times at practice because – you're banging into the same guys who just finished playing 96 snaps the week before, and we don't want those guys banging too much at times. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out what's best for your team, and you got to manage it and make sure we're in the right spot, doing the right thing. So those are the two areas, I think, playing some guys and getting some experience on some people, but then also being a more physical football team, especially on offense.
One thing I don't want to say goodbye without pointing out to our fans. I like to try to let everyone know these types of things, but Chasen Virgil right now, he's 3rd in the nation in passing, so 1,526 yards for Chasen, 9 touchdowns. It's 305 yards per game, and certainly anytime you're throwing for over 300 yards a game, it's a good thing. But he really hasn't had that monster game yet either, though. It's just been consistent, putting up good numbers every week.
He has been, and we didn't throw it that much this past week. I don't know what the numbers. What did we throw? About 30 times, maybe something like
28.
that. 28 times. So it
316 on 19 completions.
Yeah, so it wasn't like we just lined up and said we're going to throw it every snap. We tried to force the run a little bit more this past week and just didn't have much success. But what the guys saw, and I think what everybody sees is that when you run the football or have the ability to run the football, it opens some things up in the pass game, and that's why we had some explosive plays throwing the ball down the field.
All right, Coach, well, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck this weekend against Incarnate Word.
I appreciate that. Can I finish the creme brulee?
You can go ahead and get it while I'm signing off here. And Lions take on Incarnate Word this weekend, 4 o'clock kickoff in San Antonio, Texas. The game will be live streamed on UIW's website. For more information, you can visit lionsports.net. As always, you can listen right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. You can listen to the voice of the Lions, Mark Willoughby, Robbie Rhodes doing color, and myself on the sidelines. We'll be there in San Antonio this weekend. I want to thank everybody who makes this show possible. I want to thank Topla for being our host each and every Monday night. We'll be doing this from 7 to 8 o'clock every Monday night, talking Lion football. We hope if you haven't made it this year, that you can make it out for a show. I want to thank Colton Vickers. He comes every week. He streams our show. So if you're just now tuning in, you say, hey, I missed the show, you can go back and watch the archive on Facebook or YouTube. Also, Dustin Arroyo, who is our on-site engineer, gets us up on the air. All of our affiliates in the area. Kimler Chappell with the Sports Information Department, who certainly gives us all the statistics we can give to you right here on our program. So for the final time here tonight, this is Coach Frank Scelfo. I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time on Inside Southeastern Football. Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.